Hello and welcome to Daily Dose Radio, a 5-minute-a-day podcast studying the Psalms verse by verse, recorded here in the dining room of the Bible Bistro, located in Sharonville, Ohio. Hey there, friend. Welcome back to Daily Dose Radio here in the Bible Bistro. Well, today and all this week, we're going to be studying Psalm 77. So Psalm 77 is 20 verses long. We're going to take all 20 verses for our subject this week. This is another one of those great psalms, and it deals with a very similar subject. You remember back in Psalm 73, we talked about David's despair over injustice. Basically, no, it wasn't David, it was Asaph. And the despair over injustice. Is God going to do good? That was his question. Here in 77, it's Asaph's despair over suffering. And so we're going to ask the question, is God going to heal? Is he going to, and again, really basically the same question, is God going to do good? The outline is the same in a way because we have the questions, we have the situation, the questions that are asked, and then sort of an aha moment, that moment of revelation when you go, oh, wait a minute, why am I thinking this way? I know about God. And then he gives us this beautiful conclusion to inspire our faith, and his as well, no doubt. So we're going to do today verses 1 through 3. The psalm is divided nicely by the selahs. There's a selah at the end of verse 3, a selah at the end of verse 9, a selah at the end of verse 15. So it's divided into 4 parts. You can just read it or study it that way. And I'm going to try to follow the selahs. Although I'm going to divide to what would be 4 through 9, I'm going to divide that in half. And then I'll follow the next set, 10 through 15, and then the last set, 16 through 20. So we're going to do 1 through 3 today, which brings us up to the first selah, our first break. This psalm has an introduction. It's of the choir master upon Jeduthun of Asaph, a psalm. So upon Jeduthun is an interesting statement because we know Jeduthun, he is one of the celebrated singers in David's Israel. Asaph and Jeduthun were names that were connected to the worship of God and men who were over the worship of God, and this is a tune that is named after this man. So we have this tune name upon Jeduthun, which apparently, maybe he popularized this particular tune, and so his name is now associated with it. So Asaph uses the Jeduthun tune for this particular psalm. So let me read for us today, beginning here in verse 1. I'm going to read verses 1, 2, and 3. I cried unto God with my voice, even unto God with my voice, and he gave ear unto me. In the day of my trouble I sought the Lord. My sore ran in the night and ceased not. My soul refused to be comforted. I remembered God and was troubled. I complained and my spirit was overwhelmed. All right, so you see here, and then we have the selah. So the selah asks us to consider. So let's consider. Number 1, you'll notice how much trouble he's in. He's crying unto God there in verse 1. He's in trouble. In the day of my trouble, I sought the Lord. My soul refused to be comforted. Notice that. His sore ran in the night. So in the daytime, he has trouble. At nighttime, he has this issue of whatever it might be. It's a physical issue, apparently. His soul was so distressed, it refused to be comforted. Verse 3 says, I remembered God and was troubled. I complained and my spirit was overwhelmed. Notice he says he was troubled there in verse 3. He was complaining and he was overwhelmed. So all of these words give us a beautiful, well, maybe not a beautiful, but a very interesting picture of what's going on in the psalmist's life. And I would dare say that every one of us probably can relate to what is happening. He's troubled, he's confused, he's confounded, he's overwhelmed, and he's complaining. And he's at least honest about the complaining. All right, well, join me again tomorrow, and we'll pick up there in verse 4 and read verses 4 through 6 here on Daily Dose Radio. Thanks for listening to Daily Dose Radio. For more fresh and delicious Bible studies, podcasts, books, and more, check out the Bible Bistro online and on YouTube. Join me again next time for Daily Dose Radio.